now it's time for our fantasy look. And that can be anything. Comic book character, anime, Disney character, clowns, witches, mermaids. The sky's the limit. You just want to have fun. And it can be character, it can be animal based, and it can also just be any sort of creature you want. What you want to stay away from is prosthetics. This is not about prosthetics. This is about what we can do with crazy colored makeup. So the first thing you need to do is design what you're going to apply. So use your face chart. Go do some research on what you like. If you need some inspiration, there's a link to my Pinterest board that I've been making for way too many years, and it has tons of fun things to do. Head over, take a look, see what you want to explore. Now, fantasy makeup is just like using your regular cream makeup. Only difference is now it's funky colors. Now, some of the things I'm going to be playing with today are, this is the kit that I've had everybody get. This is the deluxe version. Just more colors, more fun. They're both relatively inexpensive. It's not the Ben Nye makeup, but it's quite good. I've been using it for a few semesters. I don't mind it at all. Does the job. There's a video in Canvas that links you to a bunch of color mixing information. It's great to learn to create different shades. If the shade is not on your palette, how do I make it? If I want to make something go one way or another, how do I do it, right? Maybe something's too blue, how do I make it more red? If something's too yellow, how do I get it more blue? So it'll talk you through all of that. It's great knowledge to have. If you have ever done art, it's all of the artsy things. It's what's a hue, what's a color, what's tertiary colors versus secondary colors. Yeah, so it's good information. Review those videos, they're really super fun. But I have my two kits, whichever one you have. The little one is great, the bigger one just gets you more colors. I also have a very colorful eyeshadow palette. I will show you how to use all these fun colors. I have some of my wax paper palettes or my actual palette, and that's to mix colors on if I need them. I use them a lot of times to mix or block colors, so that's here. And then a whole handful of brushes. Some of them are from the set that came with the colors if you ordered that one. Eyeshadow brushes. So I have brushes that go for cream. That's more of our fantasy brushes. And then our powder ones that are always gonna go with our eyeshadow. Just different uses. Generally, I do not use any powder-like brushes in cream makeup. It just makes them kind of gunky and nasty. So I kind of stick with like a paintbrush. My powder, my powder brush, my powder puff, all of those fun things live here as well. And lots of baby wipes, but I also have a whole set of my disposables. So this can help us a lot with detail work. Yeah. The disposables you can get online. Amazon has sets of them for like $10. You can get a little bit of everything. They're great with detail work, and they have nice little ends that you can, they help a lot. I use them a lot. These lip applicators are great for polka dots. So spoolies help get you anything if you have a beard, mustache, eyebrows, or even if your hair, if you want to pull any of our colors through it, you can, but you need spoolie helps, kind of comb it through. So I have all sets of those. Now, first order of business is getting your design, right? Yeah, I've done my eyebrows. It's all beautiful because I'm going to make those go away. And now you need to sort of just plan out your design. Each design is different. You have to attack it a different way. So you have to sort of dissect it and see what it will call. You have to dissect it and see what it needs. So something like Day of the Dead, right? That would require a full face of white makeup and then plan out all of your design. And that is a little bit more paint by numbers. Always remember, if I layer colors on top of each other, if I put white down and put black over the top, you're making gray. You have to either create a barrier between or you get rid of the makeup underneath, right? So think if I did full polka dots and I cleaned the section or left the section open where the polka dots would go, now I've created a clean area. The minute you start layering colors, you have a chance to meld them all together. And know that the dominant color is always going to win. Yellow is never going to win over red. White is never going to win over black. You will always end up with gray or weird colors. Yeah? So plan it out. And then sort of decide, is yours a paint by number situation where you need to grid out your face? And I'll try to do one side a little bit like that. Is it more like an ombre gradient type feel? Think of like a galaxy or a deer, right? One color fades in and out of the other. That's a different method. That's layering colors. One is sort of paint by numbers. Let's get that section, that this section needs to be black, this section needs to be white. So think about that as you're going. Lastly, it's all about fine lines and detail. That needs to be at the end. You don't want to get it messy. So that always needs to think about that later. If I'm going to outline something, if I'm going to put dots on something, if I'm going to add, if I'm doing a cat and I'm having whiskers, whiskers at the end. If I'm doing a pop art one that has sort of the black outlines, do the black last. Get all of your basic shapes in, all your basics of everything going first, then adding your fine lines and details. And you can use your cream makeup for that, but sometimes if you want to go to areas that are smudgy, like your eyes, it's always going to smudge, or you need tiny little lines, get a liquid liner, get a marker, get something that is makeup, but you can actually paint or draw on your face. So one thing I forgot to have on there is any sort of pencil liner, lip liner, anything. If you need to draw out your design, that's going to give you your paint by numbers. And it can be white, it can be beige, it can be pink, as long as it helps you kind of grid it out, right? If I'm going to do one side, I'm going to do a split face. I'm going to use this to draw down the center to get my split face look. So this can always help you. Let's get started. I also have sponges, forgot to say that. Loads of sponges. When working with cream makeup, you have to know that you have to put more on than you think. So if I'm going to do a base color, let's base it out. I'll go pink, a pinky white, okay? So I'm going to use my palette knife and get a little bit of that coming out. Here's a little bit of my pinky. And I'm mixing it together on my palette. Now, once I have the color I like, if I'm doing a full face of makeup, I prefer my sponge or a really large brush, but this is going to take you a while. So if I need to, so maybe this one, I'll do some sort of like flower there. So I know to leave that blank. You need to dab. Yeah, see how strong that gets that color? If I wipe, I'm going to show you here. Wiping on is going to give you tinted that color. So the dominant thing is still your skin tone is going to win. Yeah. No matter what I do, if I wipe, I'm going to get that. If I try to put a lot on, see how it all just disappears? And if that's what you want, that's what you want. Just know that that's the look you're going for, right? Tinted as opposed to turned that color. I'm not the pink alien, I'm the beigey pink alien. If I want the color to be intense, I need, and full coverage, intense and full coverage, I need to dab. So I take and I load this thing up. Okay? There's tons. Dab. And you'll see the intensity of your makeup. You're layering it on. It's a thicker coat. So I'm gonna get my first coat on. I'm sort of waiting to get it close to my, oh, there goes my eyebrows. I'm waiting to get it close to my eyes. I'll use brushes for that. But these big chunks, you gotta just throw it on. Don't think about it. There goes my eyebrow. You can still see it though. I'll have to draw a new one. And I'll clean this all up. I'm not going any further. Other side. I know I want it there. And then I'm going to work to even it out. Okay? Load up your brush. My sponge, I lied, it's a sponge. I know it's a sponge. It's okay. If you were here, you'd know that I call safety pins. I call bobby pins safety pins all the time. I like to tell people, go get a safety pin. And they look at me like I'm crazy. Just put a safety pin in your head. So that's a great first layer. I do have options. So if I still want it to be even more coverage, right? I'm gonna get right up to my eye on this one. So I'm gonna go right over my eye. So I'm loading up my brush now. Remember, big X's. Getting in all those areas around my nose, my eye. I can sort of really pat some over my eyebrow, yeah. And spend the time you need to, right? You're not rushing. I'm trying to make it a not 5-hour video, okay? If you need 5 hours, take 5 hours. Oh, first layer. Now what you can do is you can powder all this and then apply another layer. It will make it thicker. Okay? If you really, you'll notice if you use white and you really want to keep covering, you need to really layer it. White is harder to cover. Light is harder to cover our skin tones than dark makeup. The dark sort of takes over. Light, we kind of take over a little bit more. So you have to work at it a little bit more. So now let's do the other one. I think I'll do white in that. So I'm just using, so I have so many brushes. So just get a little out of my kit. And you can still see that texture, yeah? You'll also notice white brings out the yellow in your teeth. If you ever want to feel bad about them, just put white right next to it. I'm just cleaning as I go. Blend and clean. Now, I have a little part over here that I don't like. Options. Go back over it, take the pink. Okay. Pink's always going to be a little dominant. Clean up those sections. Just up here if I want to. If it's darker and you do it, a lot of times what we'll do is we'll layer our hand on something and then move it around our face. So you just have to be aware and you clean it up as you go. Mistakes are going to happen. Adapt. I'm going to take a little bit of ripped sponge. So literally Hulk, rip. Yeah, see? Just needed all that little bits. Okay. Yeah? Other options. Say I wanted to clean a section and do that. I can. I could do a whole stripe down my face or polka dots, whatever I want to do. You just clean it. My favorite tool is the back of a brush. Take it, find a clean brush, you stick it in, and I can clean up where I need to. And I just keep moving it. Clean up, I can clean up. Let's do like piece that goes down. So now I have a clean section. I can now add makeup into it if I wanted to. So if I wanted to do and if I need to clean it up, again, a little bit of my sponge, dab, 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 dab. It's all about layering, dabbing, being gentle, but just go for it. So many people are timid, just go for it. And sometimes your makeup's gonna morph. You had an idea and your face had another, right? Now, other options I have. You can do powder, so I can set all this with a powder, and you should, like if I needed to set and make it so it's not gonna move. Just be aware, I generally don't use my powder puff because it gets really dirty. I use more of my brush, but you can't just go over the top because you have to use a lot of powder, and you have to be gentle. Generally what I would have done is powder all the pink, then add the white. And you can also powder, so if you don't have a lot of colors, there's a color you just can't mix to, you can use all of your powders. So let me show you a couple other tricks. So one is creating like a gradient or galaxy, working a bunch of colors together. Let me take a little bit, I'm in a pink mood, I guess. I can taking some of my fuchsia-y pink. So with a sponge, I can create any gradient I want, any mixture of color. It's layering on top. It's never wiping, it's always dabbing. Yeah, and I always have generally I have both colors. So I would have a sponge with this and I would have a sponge with my pink. And if I don't like one, if I'm too far down, I come back with the other one. See, these are how you create ombres and galaxies and ins and outs and makeup that fades in and out of each other. That's how I do that one. If you want it separate, you do it separate, right? Paint by numbers. This is fading in and out. Other things you can do. You can take any of your powders and press them in like they are powder. So I can set, my eyes keep wanting to crease, right? That's just the nature of cream makeup. So what I can do is I can take a shadow and press it in and have it be anything I want. So you can use it to amp up your color. So I can take a pink and put more pink on it and make it brighter. So I have, and this is, you can tell I generally dab. And I'm using it as a foundation. Once you get it powdery enough, then you can start adding over the top. Just making my whole eyebrow go. Then I can start pressing. Or then I can stop pressing and start sort of blending, doing what I need to. This one I have to fix. I don't know what I am, but I'm something. It's beautiful. Yeah, that's an option. You can always do what you like. Yeah. So you can always press in a powder into a cream. It will set it. See, not gonna move as much. It's not all over my finger. Yeah. And it'll give you different colors. So it gives you, but this is always get a powdery look. The cream on cream is always gonna give you can give you those sharp lines, is the difference. Now I can powder parts of it. You will see that I'll be very gentle. So sometimes I will use loads of powder. Now they won't mix as much. Yeah. But I can sculpt it, this powder, it's not bad. You just have to be aware if you're gonna be too aggressive, you can pull makeup back onto your brush and transfer it around other places. Like I wouldn't, now that I've done pink, I wouldn't go and try to do my white, I would use a different brush. So that I could go a lot smaller and go in and do all the white if I wanted to. I'm not going to, let's not die. Anytime you have a mistake, clean it up, yeah, or transfer it. If something's not working, adapt. It's not because you're doing it wrong, it's because it might not work for your face or you've never done it before. I've never done this before. Weird pink clown alien. So dots, let's try that. Dots, some of my favorite ways to go are these. If I want little ones, I use the lip brush or I use the end of a brush. So any sort of back of a brush, trying to do them with the little top part, I find that they never quite get a nice circle. So whatever size you want, so I could do this size if I want, and I dip it in whatever color I want. Dip it, test it. Yeah. Here's a little one. Works pretty well. So I could do any kind of weird thing you want. Yeah. Now, dots. A lot of times you'll find them in all kinds of makeup. A lot of times in the pop art looks. So just be aware. Dots generally last. Other things. Let's do, if I want to do fine line. So I'm using my angle brush. But use whatever brush you want. So if I say I wanted to put circle around it. Generally more makeup is better because you're going over a bunch of things. I have to make that into something. And you can see down at the bottom, I've created a little bit of gray. Yeah, you're gonna have to keep layering or accept it as is. Whatever you want to do, you can create little lines. This one I can put, I'm gonna draw it first. This is me planning it out. Yeah, whatever you want. But now you see, you don't even see any of the things on the bottom. Now, I fucked up. I shouldn't say that. I messed up. I cuss a lot, like a sailor. Take the end, clean it up. It's okay. Happens to all of us. And I'm like a full 2 feet away from my mirror, which makes it hard. Clean it up. Come back here. And then you're gonna go back with our powder. It's okay. Different things give you different stuff. Fix it, make it different, accept what's there. It's all trial and error. You maybe have never done this before in your life. And I'm sorry this is after Halloween, but you'll be great for next year. And anything else you want to do, right? All of this has helped. I can do anything on my kid's face now. The worst part is them sitting still. So setting it, sometimes you cannot set it with powder. You have to just set it with setting spray. Because if I tried to powder all this, it's gonna just start messing around and mixing up. Yeah. So set it with a setting spray if you need to. And you just have to be aware, right? We just all touch our face a lot. And when our makeup is our color, we don't really notice. We don't notice when it's on our hands. You will notice. It'll touch, you're like, oh no. Yeah. Powder helps. Nothing here. I touch here. It's all on my fingers. Yeah? Powder when you can. Use what you need to. Powder when you can. Adjust when you need to. Make it into whatever you need to. I'm gonna be some weird clown. Because why not? Now I just need a lip of some type. Move to a little bit to this one. See this? That's just because it's cream. Yeah, you set it, it's not as big a problem. Go in and really set it with my powder. It'll help stop the creasing. You can also just accept it in your life. You can use any of this makeup also in your lashes. So if I wanted to, spoolie, roll, and you'll see me kind of go to my edge. I want no clumps, no clumpity clumps. And I can go in, I can go straight in lashes. Get bigger. It's kind of hard to see that far away. And remember, I don't have the best lashes for this. Yeah, it can go in my hair, beard, mustache, everything. And we need a lip. Let's do my pinkies. And I'll use my pencil. There you go, just as best I can do. And while teaching and doing my makeup at the same time. 10 feet away from a mirror, yeah? So have fun, make something weird, try all the different things. If you don't like it, take it off, start over. It's totally okay. Now go get some inspiration, check my Pinterest board, just go onto Pinterest, type in things like fantasy makeup, fantasy character makeup, fantasy Disney makeup. You'll find so many things to inspire you. I promise there's something out there that you will love to do. And have fun. I did. Thanks. Bye.